This category always makes me kind of laugh every time I start to do it because it's just it's just funny. I mean, some of the machines are just hilarious. Last winners, this was the Force Grit is sort of the winner. By sort of, I mean it has been skinned and reskinned so many times, and it basically does the job. So it has been the award winner, and then of course you have all seen me with the Kid Double Chop Forage Harvester. I've used it on just about every playthrough season that I have done. I think everyone that I've done has involved this particular harvester. So this season we brought in the New Holland 1905. It is a mover. And the FCT 1060 ProTech. Now, the bigger issue is we also brought in the titanium pack, and the titanium pack has equipment that kind of works here. So, for instance, this thing, you're not going to use it here on Westbridge Hills Farm. It's just way too big of a farm. It's more of a medium-size harvester, forager for you. You might find a use for it here, but not likely. Against a Force Grit, well, the Force Grit has like multiple attachments. You can do just about everything you want to do with the Force Grit. There's just like attachment after attachment after attachment, but it's very small. It's very underpowered. You're still not going to get a heck of a lot going on. Yeah, so we have those two. I think I'm going to give the New Holland an honorable mention. It doesn't do anything wrong. It works. It does well. The thing is, I'm also going to move the Force Grit from an honorable mention, or from an award down to an honorable mention, because I think the new titanium pack pretty much does a replacement job. Yes, the Force Grit is much cheaper, which is good. But when we talk about cheaper, we end up here with this category, which is basically two different pieces of machinery. We have the Kid, which the Kid, you run it over anything. You tell it whether you want it to come out as grass or chaff. Bish, bash, bosh, done. Works beautifully. This is a little bit different. This is made for picking up lines of straw and chopping lines of straw. It's got a bigger reach head on it, which is great. The Kid often would look derp because it would clip through the side of a trailer. The thing is, it only does straw, so you'd have to cut your grass, line your grass, and then run this over it in order to get your grass out of it. So it's really two different pieces of equipment. This is great if you're doing a lot of picking up of straw. You often see that when I'm running the Kid, I miss stuff because the Kid is just not that wide. This is wide enough to really trail behind a 770 or 780 TerraTrack and pick up the entire straw line. So, there you go. The Kid is going to keep its award. I mean, it's just so useful. It's inexpensive. It's extremely useful for just about anything you need to do. I don't know. Do we give it an award? Do we give it an honorable mention? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give it an honorable mention for a very specific reason. Same reason I'm giving the New Holland an honorable mention and the Force Grit is going down to honorable mention. When it comes down to it, the titanium pack has the equipment to do it, and it has the multi-capacity heads to switch and flip and do all these other things. This is great as a cheaper alternative, same with the Force Grit, and to some extent the New Holland, though the New Holland is $130,000. But it doesn't really change that the in-game equipment can do the job. So I'm going to give honorable mentions to the gang here. And the Kid is going to keep its award because in the end, the Kid is just... The Kid just can do it all. How about that? All right, we will be back with our next mod category. Here we are in the category of seeders. Oh, this category is... well, it divides really into three things. We have big seeders, we have medium seeders, and we have small seeders. This season we had two giant seeders. We had the Case air seeder cart system, There's the air seeder that is all derpy because it flops around when you buy it. And then we had the John Deere air cart. There's the air cart over there, and the plow bit is right there. For medium seeders, we had this John Deere 8930, which can sort of become a large seeder because you can attach more to it. And then we had the Forage. This is a build your own seeder. It is a space seeder, so you do have to be aware that it is a space seeder. And then for small, we had the Alice Chalmers All Crop, which was a great little 3-point seeder. All right. Oh, where do we start? Let's start with the John Deere air cart. You guys raked me over the coals on this one. I did not understand how this thing worked. You load the fertilizer in from a fertilizer trigger, but then grain you don't load in by the trigger. You load in with a grain cart. That's all great and wonderful and awesome, but mod authors who do stuff like that need to tell us when we just load in the game, everything else we've done to date has loaded in from a trigger. Well, how am I supposed to know that this doesn't load in by trigger? That's kind of a problem. Second problem I had with it, when I put a hired worker on that field over there here in Westbridge Hills Farm, it crashed the game. The Lewis script went insane and couldn't divide by 0, which you can't divide by 0 anyway. Some of you said, oh, that doesn't happen to me. Well, that's interesting because a Lewis script is a Lewis script. So either the way it calculated here in Westbridge Hills Farm was wrong, or you just got really lucky. I don't know. But, yeah, it just crashed my game. I didn't really like that. However, it's a pretty decent little piece of kit. I mean, you can't walk through everything. This wasn't terribly derpy. The air cart itself wasn't terribly derpy. This is in contrast to the case. This case air cart is terribly derpy. It bounces and jumps and jiggles and waddles and wallops and flips and jump and yeah. And then you have the plow here, which is great, except for I discovered a few times here on Westbridge Hill Farms when I'm over on some of these fields that are really sloped and I go to open this thing up and then its wheels, those wheels right there, hit against the ground and then it causes all kinds of problems and my air cart goes flopping, my tractor has trouble. It just, pain in the butt. Yeah, so that's our big seeders. I'm going to give a mention to the John Deere. Because it's a Lua script, it's not a mod conflict. It's dividing field area by 0, which you can't conflict that into the game. So I'm going to give a mention to the John Deere air cart and seeder. If you try it, great. If it crashes your game, you can make some adjustments to the Lewis script if you really feel like it. I didn't feel like it, so there you go. A mention. Oh, the case. Honorable mention. I'm not going to give it an award. That air cart just jumps and flops just a little bit too much for me. It just bothers me too much. And there's some textures that could be buffed up to really make it shine. I understand why some of the stuff is the way it is. I just wish it wasn't. You know what I mean? The air cart in particular just needs to be fixed because when I buy you, I want you to just sit. Again, remember, I've got damage mod on. So now I've got damaged equipment the minute I buy it. What? So it's more imperative now for mod authors to make sure that we don't have space implements or floppy implements because the damage mod will just exacerbate every little flaw. All right, so mention for the John Deere air cart, honorable mention for the case air cart system. Let's go to our medium, which is the 8930 and the Forage here. I really like the 8930. There's nothing really wrong with it. It gets dirty. You can put fertilizer in it. Some people have problems getting the hired help to work, but honestly, I have trouble with hired help, period, because, well, they're hired help. You can also, there's a little bar that comes out on each side to attach 2 more to it, so you can make a pretty wide piece of equipment if you really needed it. I like it. I think it's an award. There you go. An award for the 89, whatever this thing is. 8350, whatever it is. You just, yeah. The horse. Oh, man. The bad. It's a space thing. It comes from space. That means you have to damage the equipment to straighten it out. I mean, look at this. Really? Again, if you're not running the damage mod, then it's not such a big deal, but I'd prefer my equipment to actually be in correctly so I don't have to straighten it out when I buy it. Like the John Deere air cart, I do have to load this from an overloader. Difference being, I had experience with that, you guys yelling at me about it, so I kind of, after a while, figured this one out. What I really like about it, and this also does go for the air cart over there, but what I really do like about it is you have to plan. You have to know, okay, how big is my field? How much seed do I use per hectare? How much do I load in here? Because if I load too much, I dump it and I lose it, and I've lost that money. And I think that's a great functionality to have. My problem with it is, really the only problem I have with it is that it's a space vehicle. I like the fact that this is just one attachment. This is the grain attachment. It also has an attachment to plant maize, corn. So it's got different attachments, so you can have one seeder to do different things. I'm going to give it an award, but it just barely gets that award. This space thing really annoys me, and it almost drops it to an honorable mention, but we're going to give it an award just barely. So it's sort of like the award for the advanced medium seeder, whereas this is the award for the intermediate medium seeder, I guess. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. The Alice Chalmers. Great little seeder. Can't really put it on your small itty bitty tractors, your historical tractors, because it just dips them. The Schluter that comes with the Giants DLC, the Farming Classics DLC, it can take this Alice Chalmers. It just needs a front weight on it. But it's a well-functioning little seeder. It does its job. It's a little bit wider. Is it? No, it's not any wider than Minneapolis Moline, which was from the small farm pack. The difference being that with this one being 3-point versus the Minneapolis Moline, which is toe behind, this is a little bit easier to maneuver in really small spaces. So yeah, that's good. I'm going to give an award to the Alice Chalmers in the category of small seeders. There you go, my made-up subcategory. Award to Alice Chalmers. Award just barely to the Horsch. Award to the John Deere 8350. Mention to the John Deere Air Seeder. Honorable mention to the Case Air Cart System thingy. All right, we'll be back with our next mod category. Welcome to the always controversial category of runabouts. We have quite the cornucopia of stuff. We have a Lamborghini, something. It's some sort of Lamborghini. We have a dune buggy. We have an F-150. We have a Jeep Wrangler service truck. We have the Cummins, the 2007 Cummins. We have the Dodge 3500 dually. We have a Peterbilt big service truck. We have a Peterbilt medium service truck. We have a Ram 5500 service truck, and we have a Sterling. And we have a Planeta bike. Okay, I don't think we even need to try to string you along. You already know who the winner is. Without a doubt, blows every single one of these away. It's the bike. It is this little Planeta bike. It is just phenomenal. We'll talk a little bit more about it after we are done ragging on the rest of these guys. No, we're not going to rag on all of them. But, all right. Let's start with the Lamborghini here. The Lamborghini... It's just derp on a farm. What do you need a Lamborghini on a farm for? Fuel usage is ridiculous. Driving from the farm up here to the shop just about burned through all the fuel in the Lamborghini. It's also derp. It becomes a space thing at the smallest little bump. which is wrong because having driven a Lamborghini, they stick to the road very well. They don't stop very well, but they stick to the road very well. So there you go. Yeah. Dune buggy. It's oversized. Wow, is it oversized? The engine sounds absolutely derp. And it's a space buggy. It actually came from space. That's why it's positioned in this particular strange fashion. So, yeah. Okay, we have the F-150. I thought the F-150 was going to be a phenomenal runabout. I mean, it's about the right size. It does not have a fifth wheel, but really with that short bed, I didn't expect it to. I thought it would be, at least a decent little runabout vehicle. Unfortunately, the engine note is just wrong. I can hear it cycle back across, and it just doesn't sound right. I think with a little bit of change to the engine note, it would be a great vehicle. It's not going to get an award. That engine note just annoys me too much. But other than that, it actually is a pretty decent vehicle. It's well modeled. I do like it. I just wish that engine note would change. But there you go. The service vehicle, it is also really great. Good service vehicle. Good vehicle in general. Small little bumper hitch there. Functionality without the damage mod is pretty limited. You certainly could drive it around your farm, use it, the lights and the beacons and whatnot. But if I'm just going to drive around the farm, I don't need something this big or this expensive. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Ugh. Okay, so these two, let's talk about these two right now. I'm going to give these two an honorable mention. They're both nearly there. The Ford really needs an engine note change. This one, I don't think it ever would make it into the award category. It's so close. Once the damage mod is working, once the damage mod works properly all the time and is useful, then this is going to become more and more important because you're going to want a mobile vehicle for doing that. Maybe if somebody does a mod where you have to actually, put oil in your tractors or something like that, then this would become even more important. Until then, it's just a really expensive runabout. So I'm going to give it an honorable mention. Those two are dishonorable, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, those are dishonorable. The Cummins. There's so much wrong with it. Being able to clip into it like this, that bothers me. Seriously bothers me. It's also a little bit derp for most farms. Look at this exhaust pipe. Really? Really? I mean, I know it's totally awesome in some circles, but on a farm, I don't want that. I want a truck that does the work for me. It does have a fifth wheel, but honestly, it's going to tip a lot of equipment backwards because it's so tall. And then, of course, walking in here, it's just really annoying to walk all the way into the engine. Though, I did notice he tried to hook up the exhaust actually into the engine. Yeah, you tried. Good Lord, is it garishly orange as well? That's kind of a problem. Interior, left. When I look left, it turns right. When I look right, it turns left. Those are both things I don't like. Additionally, it's got sterling interior. The door handles are inverted, some sort of weird thing. So it's just lacking in a lot of areas. But it's, yeah, there you go. Dishonorable mention. The Ram 3500 from Duke Farming. This thing is lacking all of its glass, which is sort of an issue for me. It does have a ball hitch in the bed, or a fifth wheel, if you want to call it that. The camera being set way back is just crazy. Interior is just pitch black, dark, dank, doesn't even come close to being anything. And I get out on top of the truck, which is kind of weird. I'm going to give it a dishonorable mention as well, because of all of those problems. The Peterbilt lube pack. Okay, the problems with this one are many and many. I've got floorboard problems here that are just just craziness. The fact that I can clip through, I can't clip through into the engine. I was sort of getting the engine of this one. What bothers me here is walking into this part. It's a solid body. Just make it a solid body. Make the thing one solid piece of equipment, and then it's going to be even better. And the floorboard. Same thing pretty much same thing holds true for this one. We got issues on the interior. Right looks left and left looks right, which is really annoying. And I can walk into the back of this truck as well, which is also extremely annoying. Same thing is true here where I walk into this. Okay. I understand why I can walk into this on the 150, the 07 Cummins, and the 3500 because they actually have hitches back there. So they actually have to allow some clip in to handle those trailers, but there's no hitch back here. Why am I walking in here? Please stop that. Additionally, there is no interior. None whatsoever. Seriously, this is Farming Simulator 2013, not, oh yeah, there we go. There's my interior. Not Chemical Spillage Simulator, which is a terrible, horrible, awful, no good game. That's not that bad, but still, put some interior in your vehicle, please. Dishonorable mention for the entire Peterbilt pack. This is the Sterling. This also has clip pattern problems. It's like the exact same clip patterns that we're seeing on the 07. Makes me think they just, borrowed it heavily, which is fine if you borrow it. Just, borrow something that's not silly. Interior is, well, exactly what you see in the Cummins because they're identical pieces of equipment as far as I'm concerned. Dishonorable mention for the Sterling. This isn't to say that any of these trucks are bad, unsalvageable. I think all of them are salvageable. The Peterbilt, the lube pack, fix the clip. Fix the clip. Same thing holds for actually the Sterling and the 07 Cummins. Fix it so I'm not walking through there. Fix it so I'm not walking into the engine bay. Just fix that. Put floorboards on it. Put interior in that 5500, for goodness sake. Put glass in the vehicle. All things that are fixable. And if they're fixed their physics too, by the way. This one especially has some serious derp going on with it. If they're fixed, I think all these trucks have a place on your farm. But until then, I don't like any of them. This dune buggy is stupid. I don't like it at all. And the Lambo is even worse because, seriously, when you have the money for a Lambo, just get out of farming and go do something else. Seriously. So there you go. All right, our award winner is this bike. Does that mean this bike is perfect? No, this bike is far from perfect. There are some things I would love to see on this bike. I'd like the blacks to be a little bit blacker. I'd like to see some rust or some oil spill around the engine manifold. I like that little area right behind the engine there. See how there's that black right behind the engine that's not really black when I turn off my light? I'd love to see that improved. There's a bunch of little things, but see, that's just it. They're little things. The problems with these trucks, they're big things in my book. They might not be big things in your book, in which case, go for it. But they're big things to me. And the 150 is almost there. It's like just on the edge of getting an award. Just fix that stupid engine note because it's not an F-150 engine, and it's got this weird noise to it that I don't like. Let me see even if I can. I'll just start it up. Okay, one, that startup sequence is too long. See that? Did you hear that click? Right there, that click noise. That's what I'm talking about. That little click is actually not my microphone. It is not my soundboard. That is actually in the file. Get rid of it. And tone the engine note down. The engine's not that loud. This is really hamstrung by the fact that it doesn't really fit completely. Damage mod working? Well, then you'll need that. All right, there we go. This is the controversial runabout category. I'm sure I've pissed some of you off, especially those of you who actually authored some of these mods. But that's just my opinion on the whole matter. get the bike. F-150, fix your engine note. The rest of you trucks, just fix the clip pattern. Fix the interior. Fix the floor panels. Fix the physics. Is that all? Yeah. Don't bother with the Lamborghini. And the Doom Buggy is silly. All right. We'll be back with our next mod category.